Lucas Stiefvater. I live in Oyster Bay, British Columbia, Canada. Well, I was born in the Black Forest in Germany, southern part, and in a small village of 500 people when I'm at home. And I grew up in a family where we had a small inn in the Black Forest. And so my dad had a bakery, and all of us in the same house. We had a farm, about 10 cows and so on, 10 pigs. And my mother, she was the cook, and so we had a little restaurant, and we had accommodation. So that was the inn, and I had 3 other siblings, another brother, 2 sisters, and we all basically, as we went up in age, we all participated and helped in the inn. And so therefore we all ended up in the hospitality business. Then this place, the Ocean Resort, came about when I came back from India. I said, well, I would like to create a place where transformation can occur, and where it's safe, and where the environment can support it. And so that was sort of my inspiration to when I put this place together. And there was a lot of fun and a lot of good things to do. Now getting the people here and to make it all happen is not that much fun, and it's a little bit more difficult than I thought, because I really found out that, well, the world is all about noise, and selling noise, there's lots of people interested, but selling stillness, there's no lineups. It's pretty quiet. So that's where I'm at, and I don't know where this is going to take me or what's going to all happen, because I really feel that this has a bigger and greater meaning, and I just don't understand all the aspects. And I knew about Jesus and all that, and I really, the phrase of Jesus saying the kingdom is within, whenever that came up, I always said, yeah, but God is out there, Jesus is out there, so how is the kingdom within? And then only after I came back from India, or while I was in India, I really came to that knowing within, to that feeling, that experience that the salvation is within. It's not out there. And that was such a relief for me. I mean, it was such an opening. It was such, and then all seeking and all that stopped, right? Because I experienced that peace within, that truth within, and I just, yeah. And I knew then, that was my truth, my God, my faith. It's all within, and as well it is in everything. But for me it was owning it within and experiencing it within. This God energy, this, and that includes Jesus energy, it includes Bhagavan energy, it includes all these people on the wall, and includes your energy, everything, just right here, And that, what a gift. That I was able to get in touch with that this lifetime, What a blessing. I feel so grateful. And it's this gratefulness within. It's It's not about being grateful from something exterior. You know, I have this, or I have that, or I have this. It's none of that. It's just being content and being joyful. And it's hard to describe in words. I tried many times, I can't. And it's just that underlying constant background of this stillness. It's like Bhagavan describes it as, that is the screen, and then you just watch life, the movie, on the screen, but I am the screen. And the movie is just happening. And not to get hooked into the movie, because from one moment to the next moment, next moment, next moment, the movie changes, the scene changes, and it's just happening. And just to take that in and be in awe and trust in that. And that is my challenge sometimes, is to trust in it. Because that plan is a lot bigger than I am. So, you know, I'm just an instrument. I'm not it. I'm not it, and I'm it. You know, definitely when my wife passed away, she was missing for 24 hours first, and then we found her dead. So that 24 hours, I just had to go, and I knew that it's not in my hands. And while the search was going on and so on, and I just, you know, said, God, you know, I just hand this over. This is in your hands, and whatever happens will happen. And, you know, I had to go and remind myself of that, you know, and you know, this is, yeah, there I definitely relied on God. Yeah, what came up is my wife created the illness, or of being bipolar, and when she had her episodes, and especially in the beginning, not knowing what it really is and how to handle it, and the whole thing, from being depressed to being manic, and I there in the beginning, and that time I went to Fourth Gospel Church, and when I saw that coming on and that whole thing, I just thought, no, it can't be true. I mean, I don't think there's a God out there, you know, because that cannot happen to her, or, you know. So, you know, in those kind of things, sometimes I doubted that there's, how can this happen? And so I blamed God, and, you know, for not taking care of us. But I mean, you know, I think there's a fine line between doubting that there is no God. Because if I blame God, I still think there's a God. And so I think in the background, I know from very little on, I know there's God. So I think my doubtings are more blaming they offered a 10-day meditation retreat. So and they said, Lucas, this is perfect for you. You can participate in this. And I said, no, exactly when the date of the retreat, that's when my flight home is. I said, it's perfect. I go home, you guys do the retreat. Everything is just perfect. And then they said, no, it's just, you know, you just got into it. Now it would be good to get a foundation and so on. And I said, well, you know, and then, you know, listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. What does your heart want to do? Well, I said, my heart, yeah, sure wants to be more in that good feeling stuff and all that. And but I need to go home. Well, then I said, afterwards, I said, well, how about this? I'll phone home and see if they need me. Phoned my wife at home and said, am I needed? No, but we're very happy. You can stay wherever you are for another 2 weeks, no problems. And so I said, darn it. And so then the thing was, well, if I can change my flight, I'll do it. Well, I couldn't change my flight. Ended up buying a single way home and all that jazz. And I participated in the training. And it's, thank God, it's the best thing I ever done. And so in that training, I, you know, 3-4 days into it, and I really got more in touch with that self-inquiry which they were teaching, and with that meditation method, and really, you know, on the 4th day, I really got in touch with that place within. And that's when I had this, number one, the feeling of peace and contentment. And that's where I had as well the realization that salvation is within. Because for me it was always that salvation is out there. That one day, after I've been a good boy and I have done, and I, you know, everything good and being good to people and being good to God and you know, and don't lie and cheat and the whole thing, that one day I will be saved. And in India, on that 4th day, and it's not by anyone telling me, it was just by inquiring the question to myself and let the answer be revealed, I came to that place of that the salvation is within, and it's right now, and it's not out there. God is within. Heaven is within. Everything is within. And that was my transformation, that point. Really, you know, feeling it, being it, and first time in my life I felt at peace. And it didn't matter what was going on externally. It was this, real contentment, joy. And again, you know, feeling like being in this bubble and being in this moment. And there's no other moment, just this moment. And it was sort of like I could really feel and see how my layers of beliefs and conditioning, they just peeled off, and it just became this wide open heart. And it was just so pure. And so connected with all and with that divine power, that divinity. And a lot of releases, a lot of tears, a lot of feelings, a lot of stored up stuff, and everything just got released. And it was like a volcano. But then there was this shining heart. When I came home, I let go of a lot of things which I believed that by doing this, then I am that, and by doing this, I am that. And basically it created my image, and it created my status and the whole thing, right? But then to come home and to just to go, you know, to basically say, okay, this is not who I am. And I just did it for my image and for my glory, you know, which was an illusion. It was a lofty idea. And I was, you know, and I went to the sources where I need to go to, and I said, no, that was then, now is now, and I would like to wind this part down. I don't need that anymore. I don't need this anymore. I don't need the BMW. I don't, you know, I'm content with who I am. And you know, do I still want to live in this world? And do I still want to participate? Yes, but with a little bit of different focus, and a different purpose, and a different understanding. And so, so those things sort of happened, and then what came about? Well, then the beginning of the year I went to India, and the end of the year my wife passed away, and so knowing who I was, and I could just be with it and be with the feelings and so on. I was so blessed to have that tool and that in me. And so the whole transition and everything, and I know that Anne-Marie's body just disappeared, you know, her spirit and her soul and her being is still right there, right? And knowing that, not just intellectually, but in my heart, it made it much, well, easier, if there's such a word. I mean, it was not so difficult, and yeah. So it was a very good, timely preparation, actually, for that event. And so that is grace, that is God organizing it all. So divine love takes charge of my life today and every day, and all things work together for good for me today. This is a new and wonderful day. There will be never another one like this one. I am divinely guided all day long, and whatever I do will prosper. Divine love surrounds me, enwraps me, enfolds me, and I go forth in peace. And whenever my attention wanders away from that which is good and constructive, I immediately bring it back to the contemplation of that which is lovely and of good report. I am a divine magnet attracting to myself all things which bless and prosper me. I am happy, I am light, and I am divine.